Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, everybody. Welcome back to another 1 p.m. PST YouTube stream. I'm your host, Strange Bear Jim, and today, well, what we got is some Pega certification studying, um, like what I try to do every day. We have some Unreal Engine studying to look at. After an hour later, at 2 p.m. PST. We'll take care of some um, making some videos public. I got quite a backlog that I need to take care of, so we'll be doing that around the 3 p.m. mark, and then at around 4 p.m. PST, I'll be switching on over to Goat Simulator 3. Now, it's probably going to be my last day playing Goat Simulator 3. I believe there's going to be, um, I don't know if I'm really going to be trying to go for 100% on it. There's just um, too much world exploration without really any kind of like major radar or anything along those lines. So I think I'm not going to really bother with trying to scour every little nook and cranny of the world, trying to find every single last little trinket and ramp that's there. Um, so today is probably going to be the last day of Goat Simulator 3. I'm probably going to go ahead and throw up a poll on Discord. So if you are on my Discord, check that out. Um, I'll go ahead and put some more games up there for everybody to um, see. Now, um, now let's get into the main portion of today's Pega session, which is well, I mean, we're going to be continuing on with the topics for today. But you might be wondering, well, who are you and why are you doing this? So, a little bit about myself. I'm currently out of work, um, software developer whose last job was working with the Pega environment. Um, my last job provided us an authorized training partner for about like 15 other people, myself included. Um, and they were trying to teach us everything about the Pega environment. However, well, not everybody was happy, or pretty much everybody wasn't really happy with how the gentleman was trying to teach, and a lot of us went self-study on it. Um, so, and no, even the guy's coworkers knew that, he was kind of screwing up. So, it wasn't just us as students. So, just putting that out there. So, the one and only time that they forced me to take the certification for 8.6, um, I was definitely not ready for it. I knew that I was going to fail, and well, I did. Um, so, but we asked to be placed back into a training cycle with another different authorized training partner so that we could learn Pega properly, but was never done and was never given that opportunity. They pushed this straight out into the contracts, and well, isn't any wonder that I only lasted there a year. Um, I asked for, maybe some mentorship in the hopes that, maybe I could get a little bit more, a little bit more support in terms of trying to get my certification, but that never came either. So yeah, I was not exactly a happy camper at, you know, during that. Um, kind of wish that could have had like another session another study session with another different authorized training partner. Um, had an actual proper mentor to help me through my self study to learn the material of Pega, learn the ins and outs of it, ask questions about, like, hey, why is this working the way it is? What did they mean by these keywords? Why did they even bother using these different keywords when there's already keywords already supplied by the coding language that it's based off of? All these kind of things. I don't, it just felt off, but that never came. So I did the best that I could, but it wasn't enough. So this is my attempt to try to learn it myself. Try to go through the um, try to go through Pega Academy. Um, the stream allows me to kind of focus on that, get through the topics, get through the challenges, and try to learn as much as I can. Now I have questions on my videos, and I would hope that, if anybody's watching this and you're a veteran in Pega, whether you work at Pega Academy, if you're a lead, or if you're a manager or something along those lines, maybe you can answer those questions for me. I would greatly appreciate that. Um, um, but that's if you want to, obviously. You know, if you have questions yourself, if you're also kind of working alongside me, working towards your certification, then feel free to put your own questions down. Okay, I will do my best to answer them myself if I can. If I can't, then I will go and talk to past employees that I've worked with and ask them those questions and see what their answers are on it. But um, just know that I am not an authorized training partner, and this is not meant to be an instructor-led training. If you want to do the instructor-led training, be prepared to study your ass off. It's supposedly like a 2-week course for $5,000. So you better be getting your money's worth. Ask a lot of questions, take a lot of notes, take a lot of video recordings, whatever, to get that certification that you're aiming for. So, um, now, if you're here for business architect, that's already done. Go go to my playlist on my channel, and the 2 missions and 2 modules are done. They've already been covered. So go ahead and go through those, and put comments there if you need to. Okay. Obviously, I'm not going to necessarily address those 2 missions and 2 modules, in chat right now. I can't. I'd prefer focusing on new content. But if you have any questions about that, then please go ahead and put those in the comments. Okay. And now I will suggest, if you're working towards your business architect, these 2 modules here are covering the Pega Express delivery, and I don't feel that these 2 modules covers enough. So I would recommend that you go through this mission over here for the Pega Express delivery. Okay. Now, they're still working on the 23 version. Their 8.8 version is, I guess, done, but they still need to translate it. So, but that's the reason why I'm doing the 8.7 is for the translation, because not everybody knows English. So, I'm trying to, allow for others that, maybe you have English as your second language, but you can't necessarily read it. That's perfectly fine. Hopefully you can follow along with me. But we're going to continue on our trip through the system architect certification process, and continue working on that. So next topic here is localizing application content. So um, needs to work in different languages and time zones. So localization, 15 minutes. This is going to take a while. I see one video. I'll leave that up for you to watch if you want to. Thankfully, there's a video transcript here, so the following video explains the concept of localization. The examples used an international company application. 2 minutes and 13 seconds. So that seems like a very short transcript um, for this. Okay, localization is the process of adapting international software for a specific region or language by adding local specific components and translating text. For example, if a company is multinational, it is likely maintains offices in multiple countries. In this example, the TGB company maintains locations in Boston in the US, Edmonton in Canada, Acapulco in Mexico, Florence in Italy, Istanbul in Turkey, Tokyo in Japan. Therefore, the company portal must support at least 6 languages. Hello, bonjour, hola, ciao, mahaba, and konnichiwa, I guess. I don't know if that's exactly the right one there for hello, but however, language is not the only difference that must be accommodated for local users of TGB's website. Currency conventions can also vary based on region, not only the currency but how the amount is written. For example, in the US, $6.50 is written as US dollars 650, while in Italy the same amount is written as USD 6,50 or converting to euro, euro 5, 98. But there are more differences between the regions. The format for date is also varies according to the culture. In the U.S., the date is customarily written as Middle Indian format, month, day, year. For example, um, May 13th, 2017. However, much of the world writes the date using the Little Indian format, day, month, year. For example, 13/5 or May 13th, or the 13th of May 2017. And countries in the Far East, such as China, Japan, Taiwan, or Korea, use Big Indian format, year, month, day. For example, 2017, May 14th. Why they used 14th and not 13th is, who knows, but whatever. Finally, TGB's website must support users across multiple time zones. The time format also varies depending on the region. In the US, Mexico, and Canada, 12-hour clock is the norm, whereas time based on the 24 clock. Elsewhere, the time is based on the 24-hour clock. Localization must accommodate all these differences by customizing the appearance of an application for users in multiple locales. Pega includes features and wizards to facilitate localization. I do like the 24-hour clock. Like right now, I would be saying like, hey, it is 13:20. And for those of you that are you know, on the 24-hour, you know exactly what I mean by that. For those that, here in the United States that are more based on the 12-hour, you might have a little bit of struggles on that. But for those of you in the military, you'll have to learn really quickly. Localization process. The process of localizing an application can be visualized using the stages in the Pega platform case lifecycle. The first stage is to ensure that you design and develop your application to support localization into multiple languages. Next, you install language packs if available. Then you use the localization wizard to translate application-specific rules. Okay. Localization options. Localizing your application helps users work in their preferred language, which improves their experience and facilitates a better understanding of the product. By localizing an application, you can expand your operations to new markets regardless of language barriers. Localization adapts your application for a specific language or region by translating the text and converting the local specific components such as currency symbols and calendar settings. During the localization process, the text in your application is translated into the target language and imported back into Pega platform. Text that you can localize includes labels, captions, tooltips, and instructions that appear in the user-facing components, such as harnesses, sections, flow actions, messages, and portals. You can also localize the HTML text that is used in HTML paragraphs and correspondences and fragments. To ensure that or localization design. To ensure that you design your application for localization, create field value rules for capturing labels and notes, paragraph rules for instructions and messages, and correspondence rules for emails and other correspondence. Once these elements are added to your application, they are localized for most languages. Field value rules make it easier to localize words, phrases, and sentences that appear on portal displays, reports, and user forms. Field values enable you to manage the list of allowed values separately from the property. You can reuse a single property and customize the allowed values based on the context of the property. For more information about using field values to localize an application, see Localized Field Values. Paragraph rules store long-form formatted text that you can reuse throughout your interface in various read-only contexts, such as correspondence rules and user forms. For more information about paragraph rules, see Creating Paragraph Rules. Correspondence rules generate outbound emails, faxes, printed letters, telephone messages, and other notifications. Outgoing email can contain Pega UI sections, plain text, or HTML, including attachments such as PDF files and images. Correspondence rules are automatically created when you configure an email correspondence in App Studio. The Localize option should be selected on Section Rules. For more information about preparing your application for translation, see Preparing your application for translation. Alright. Language pack installation. Pega platform provides language packs to localize the Pega rules. Accept the content in your UI forms. Language packs are collections of language-specific rule sets that support the localization of Pega platform. If language packs are available for your target languages, install the language packs before you run the localization wizard. If a language pack is not available for one of your target languages, you can create your own custom translation pack. Use the localization wizard to export and translate the Pega rule sets and content on your UI forms. The localization wizard and translating application-specific rules. The localization wizard guides you through the process of translating the application. If you run the localization wizard after installing language packs, select the rule sets for translation that comprise your application. The application rule sets are unlocked and enabled for localization by default. While most records in the Pega platform are set as translatable by default, records from previous versions of Pega platform may not have the localize option pre-selected. Manually set those records to localize before running the localization wizard. Oh wow, there's a lot of options here. Okay, in the following image, click the plus icons to learn more about using the localization wizard. And then one more paragraph after that. So, okay, select languages. Specify the desired language, for example, Spanish or Italian, for application translation. You can also select more than one language to create separate translation packages. Select rule sets. Specify the unlocked application rule sets and versions that contain the rules to be translated. Enable records. If your original Pega platform was from a version earlier than Pega 7 enabled the localized settings for each record of the application unlocked rule set to make the records ready for translation. Export translations. The application creates a compressed archive translation package for the selected languages, um, which, then goes into Pega. Now, what you want to do is, you send that off to a, competent translator so that they can look through, everything that was done and confirm that it was done correctly. Otherwise, um, you could have some really interesting phrases if you do some really messed up translations. I've seen quite a few in Google translations that have been really interesting. So make sure that you have a proper translator that knows exactly what you're trying to go for and, can confirm that, indeed the translation was correct, so that they can move it back into the Pega, or, if there needs to be any corrections, they can make those changes, send it back to Pega so that you can now do importing rule sets. So specify the translation package along with the application rule set to be translated. Upload the translation pack. Import the translated packages into the application. And then view the imported rule sets, view the translated rule sets. So for more information about preparing the translation package for translators, see preparing a translation package for translators. I mean, all you have to do is just say, for more information, see, preparing the translation package for translators. I mean, you don't have to repeat the statement over and over again. Whatever. Verification of localization. Set the locale setting to a target language, for example, Spanish, to run your application to verify that all labels, notes, instructions, messages, and emails are successfully localized. If any are missing, check the appropriate translation pack, add the missing translations, rerun the localization wizard, and verify again. Verify that the language terms are displayed correctly when the language locale is selected. The locale setting is available on the last screen of the localization wizard. In Dev Studio, click Configure User Interface, Application Readiness, and Localization. Once rule sets for all languages are imported and tested, Pega Platform automatically uses the rule set based on the locale of the user. No further work is required to localize the application. So check your knowledge with the following interaction. So how can your application be localized if a language pack is not available for that region? So edit all the required fields presented in an unlocked rule set with the translated value and import your customized translation pack. I mean, that sounds reasonable. Export all the required fields using the localization wizard, have them translated and import your customized translation pack. I mean, that also sounds correct. Edit all the required fields present in the locked rule set with the translated value and import your custom translation pack. Well, I mean, if it's a locked rule set, then you're not going to be able to edit, so that's incorrect. Export all the required fields using the localization wizard and import your translation pack. Well, the problem is that, it, you know, you might have them locked behind a rule set. So, um, um, uh, I'm gonna go with this one here with the localization wizard, but I'm not. I don't know, man. You know, having an unlocked rule set is also something that I would want to kind of go with as well. Both of these look like they could be used, but yeah. The localization wizard helps you create an archive package for the files to be translated. After the files are translated, import your translation pack. Um, but I mean, you need to make sure that you have unlocked rule sets. I don't know. Okay. Well, we actually went through that fairly quickly. Um, but I mean, this doesn't seem like it's that um complex. So, I mean, if there's something here that you might not be understanding very well, um then maybe um feel free to put that into like a comment right now in the stream or, leave a comment, you know, in the video itself and I will try to address it if I can. So, all right. Let's see. How are we doing? I got about 30 minutes left and might be able to kind of get through this section. And we got the module quiz after that, so let's see what we can do here. So, design consideration for localization. Application design for localization. With careful attention to detail, a Pega platform application can support users who work in different languages or who use languages or alphabets that sort text values, such as customer names, according to language-specific conventions rather than American English conventions. Pega Platform provides an internationalization and localization wizard that automates many of the steps necessary to create language-specific versions of your application. The localization wizard identifies fields, values, and text strings that are used in user interface rules. Text strings include labels, caption, tooltips, and instructions that appear for user-facing rules such as harness, section, list view, summary view, message, and portal rules. To ensure the localization wizard selects the necessary user interface rules, harness, section, and navigation rules are automatically selected for localization. Other design considerations include using field values for labels and confirmation notes, using paragraph rules for text, and customizing correspondence and work party rules in a rule set used for each language-specific localization. For more information about installing Pega language packs, see help topic installing Pega language packs. Field values for labels and confirming notes. You define field value rules for those rule types that use labels or other text strings under 64 characters. For example, a property reference in a section can use a field value as a label text. Applications translated into other languages have a field value with a translation for each UI form property. Okay. Paragraph rules for text. Paragraph rules make content reusable. Instructions on a UA form, copyright declarations, and privacy notifications are all examples of reusable paragraph rules. Paragraphs longer than 64 characters can remain intact as boilerplate content and easily applied multiple times in an application. For example, the instructions at the top of the form translated into Spanish are reusable in several areas of the application. In the center of the following image, drag the vertical line to see the instructions at the top of the form translated from English into Spanish. So here's the English. Thank you. And the next step in this case has been routed appropriately. Submissions, screening, interviews, candidate, blah blah blah. And then of course you have your translation. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't know Spanish very well, So um, I can only guess that these might be correct. So you'll have, if you speak Spanish yourself, then one would hope that they are indeed correct. If not, then I would recommend that you put in a suggestion saying that, they need to fix this image. So rules such as correspondence, paragraph, and work party rules contain text that are translated manually and stored in corresponding translation rule set with the aid of localization wizard. Text that is used in paragraphs, correspondence, and correspondence fragment rules is packaged and output in a pair of HTML files called base.html and translation.html. Both files initially contain the same text. When the translator puts the translated text into the translation.html file, upload the compressed folder containing the translated paragraph and field values. Change the locale and run the application to view the translated text. You can use any text editor to edit the HTML translation file to insert the translated text. Text strings longer than 64 characters are defined as field value rules and a rule set used for each language-specific localization. I don't think that's true. Yeah. Field values cannot be more than 64 characters. We use paragraphs rules for lengthy string text. So, okay. Getting through these pretty fast. Again, if there's anything that you are not familiar with or you're having a hard time understanding this, please feel free to give a comment or anything along those lines. So, all right, Metro quiz. Okay. First time that I've ever actually seen this. Okay. Um, Not sure what's going on there. Um, Not sure why they have the module quiz being locked at this point. Um, hmm. Well, I mean, I got through those pretty fast. It didn't feel like they really had a lot of keywords in there that we haven't already dealt with. Um, and they provided enough examples, in my opinion, that we were able to learn enough from what they were kind of giving us. It wasn't like I wasn't. I didn't feel like I was um, like struggling trying to learn exactly what they were kind of going for. Um, if you were having your own problems with it, or if you're having some problems with the translation, or um, understanding what they were kind of going for on that, then obviously feel free to reach out to me. Whether it's like right now during these streams, in the chat, or just go ahead and put that message in the comment section. You know, I'll try to address it. Um, okay, there we go. Why they were having a hard time with this particular module quiz, I don't really know, but let's move on here real quick. Okay, so they have 3 questions here. So, which rule is used to store the labels, messages, and other text strings that require translation? Um, I mean, field value. So, also, if their default language is something other than English, then localization might be something like into English. So, like if someone's building a application in say like Japan, you know, their default would be the Japanese words. So localization for that application might be translating that Japanese into English. So, oh, we move on. You can use field values to localize blank and blank. So, mm, I guess we can just do those two. Oh, okay, both of them are wrong. Um, Paragraph typically over 64 character rules are output as HTML for localization. Okay. Um, you define field value rules for those rule types that use labels or other text strings under 64 characters. For example, a property reference in the section is field value, applications translation, field value translation, right? Okay. Um, um, okay. So my mistake here was thinking that hey, field values should apply to everything, but no, apparently not. Um, Paragraph rules and correspondence text have nothing to do with field values, I guess. Um, although, um, um, I mean, I guess. Instructions work, although not really. Instructions on a UI form. Isn't that part of the paragraph rules? Let me go back another one here and let's see. Um, Nothing about descriptions there. Um, okay. Well, apparently instruction text and short descriptions are the proper information here. Unfortunately, I can't click on paragraph feedback to find out why they are including instruction text on here, when in fact everything that I'm reading is saying that instruction text is typically put under the paragraph rules. So we'll have to see about that a little bit later. Which two of the following statements are true about the localization wizard? Choose two. You can use the localization wizard to verify if the localization flag is enabled on user interface rules. I don't know about that. You can use the localization wizard to change the locale, the base currency, and the time zone. Sure. You can use the localization wizard to export the strings to be translated, which contain certain rules such as field value or message rules. Um, yeah, I think both of those. You can use the localization wizard to export the correspondence and paragraph rules as HTML files to be translated. I don't know if that is true. Can't remember if that's actually true or not. I don't think it is, but let's check. Okay. Why is that one wrong? Locale, currency, and time zone are not set by the location wizard. Um, okay. Okay, apparently. Hmm. Um, the locale setting is available on the last screen of the localization wizard. Um, Why is it that I have to fix this? Or, why am I the one that I'm finding these? And I'm like going, what is going on, guys? Why, you know, you need to read through these a little bit more. Uh, uh, right. You can't change the setting for locale in the localization wizard? That's weird. Because there is a tip on one of your on one of the topics that says the exact opposite. Would recommend that you relook at this question and redo the answers. Okay. I mean, I don't know what else they want me to select here, so I'm gonna just go with that one. Neither one of those two looked correct, but, you know. Oh, apparently I got it right. Um, okay, so here's the one where it says that you have to have short descriptions and instruction text, right? Right. So, um, um, let's see. Was it here? Maybe not necessarily this particular topic, because that one didn't really show it very clearly. Um, hmm, but this doesn't really work either because they could say, well, this instructions on a UI form. So, um, so yeah, this one is probably the best one out of the bunch. Yes, at least here you can clearly see, paragraph rules for instructions. Um, let me make sure that I snip that here real quick. Um, doesn't instruction text fall within the paragraph rules? In this case, 3 of the answers should be wrong. Would recommend changing the answers to the correct values. Uh, well, I've already completed it, so we're just gonna go ahead and leave that. So that's all done. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, well, that's gonna be it for today's Pega process here. Had a couple of suggestions for the module quiz again. Um, but we're going to go ahead and move on. And we're going to be moving on to the Unreal Engine settings session. So, um, so we're gonna close everything down here and move on over to that. So look forward to that. If you're just interested in Pega, know that I'm going to continue working through these topics, these challenges, and so on and so forth till we get to the very end. And then we're going to go ahead and start doing a lot of study sessions so that I myself can kind of get prepped for it. And then um, going to try to um, uh, try for the certification test again. You know, basically using my own cash to try to get past the certification process. At least that's the plan. We'll have to see. Um, we'll have to see what happens. Uh, there's a lot of prep that I'm going to need to kind of make sure that everything is set up here on my end so that I can take the certification test again. But that's obviously, you know, things that I need to do. And obviously, we'll be going through that, as well, so that you are aware of everything that, you will be facing when you take the online test as well. But that's it. That's where we're going to go ahead and close on down for tonight on this particular Pega Academy study session. So um, hopefully you'll help me out with the YouTube algorithm with a like and subscribe and all that other jazz. Feel free to check out the description for social media links as well as other links that um, help me and potentially you out. Um, so so check those out if you're interested in any of that. Um, but yeah, that's where we're gonna go ahead and end it for today, or this Pega session for today. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully catch you next time. But until then, take care, have a good night, stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll catch you strangers next time.